everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from gunky-aired Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to be talking about Armageddon.
We are.
Let's put to put too fine a point on it.
I mean, what we're going to be
But,
talking about is the attempt to force Armageddon to happen by doing stupid things and what it really is going to be. Actually, Armageddon may well happen because of this.
And a big nasty war. And what I'm going to love at the end of Armageddon, right, when the Christian right finally brings about real Armageddon, is that when I want to see their faces when Jesus doesn't show up.
when the dust settles, and it's just like, oh, I guess we just keep on living then.
Yeah, oh, crap.
Oh.
Will their faith finally be shook?
Nope. It was the wrong Armageddon, Frank.
They'll be like,
we just did a wrong Armageddon.
They'll pull a Harold Camping.
Yeah.
Be like, maybe again next year.
We'll try another Armageddon at another time, see how it plays out. We'll get him. He'll eventually show up.
Well, all right, Dan.
Yeah.
I've got a story for you.
Oh.
Actually, I wanted to start on a really happy note. I want to congratulate the nation of Australia because they have their parliament has voted to allow same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
And I'm always jealous of any country where it actually happens through parliamentary or legislative action.
Rather than activist judges.
Because I mean that spells that, I mean, that really says that a nation is fully ready for it.
Well, they did a poll.
People are ready.
They did a poll of the will of the people.
Yep.
It came back pretty clear that they liked the gays and wanted them to be able to share in the misery of marriage just like everybody else.
And have equal opportunity for divorce.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have that great second marriage without that awful first one.
Yeah, but Australia now joins a growing list of nations that have full-on gay marriage.
Yay.
The full thing. Nothing held back. They actually, there were attempts to add amendments to the bill that were supposed to safeguard freedoms of speech and religion, and those were shut down. Those were not included. They said we're going to figure that stuff out later. The government has actually appointed a panel to examine how to safeguard those freedoms once gay marriage is actually 100% a reality.
Right.
They think that the gay marriages will actually be performed starting in early January. Right now they can start applying.
Frankly, it's a slippery slope to people making out with kangaroos. I mean, this is what they've gotten themselves into.
Anyway, I don't know if that. Boy,
people are going to want to marry the koalas now.
There were some interesting things in here that I thought were nice compromises, actually, to address a couple of the issues that we've seen in the United States.
Sure.
Because we were very absolutist. It's now the law.
Yes.
And so, for example, existing civil celebrants of marriage can refuse to officiate at gay marriages. They're being grandfathered in.
Okay.
And but celebrants who register after gay marriage becomes law would not be exempt from anti-discrimination laws.
Celebrants being those who perform the ceremonies.
Exactly.
Or who sign the paperwork.
Civil celebrants.
Right.
Yeah. So probably something like a justice of the peace that would be doing something similar.
One would
here.
assume that churches would still be allowed to.
Yes, there will be. Churches are not going to run afoul of the anti-discrimination laws. They can boycott gay weddings without violating any of the laws.
So basically, everybody who wants to be grandfathered into their current bigotry, they're allowed to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but I mean, the religious groups organizations will be able to continue that indefinitely. What's nice enough about this whole grandfathering in the civil celebrants themselves is that they, of course, will retire at some point.
You're right.
Or die.
Right. And their bigotry goes with them. They're grandfathered in bigotry. Can you will your bigotry to your children?
Is it a tangible asset? I'm not sure.
Oh, Lordy. Well, get out there and marry a queer, you down under people, you. I love it. Hooray for that.
I love it. So, yeah, well done, Australia.
Yeah, a
one
little
more,
late
one
to the
more
game,
reason.
I would think.
Why? Because we got there first?
Because, like, they're a
when
more
we
secular
were already
country
late
than-
to the game.
Yeah, we were late to the game, and they're still working their shit
Well,
out.
as we were pulling off gay marriage nationally in the United States, they already had civil unions in place.
Yeah. Oh, so their
So they
half
had-
measure had been sort of like
Right.
bridging a gap or something.
Right, exactly. So they had addressed the issue before we were addressing it.
Right.
But we just went whole hog.
Yes,
with
indeed.
gay marriage. So.
Well, now they've got that hog hold too. I'm going to move us along to Vietnam, where in Hanoi, 10,000 Vietnamese Christians have come to an event led by one Reverend Franklin Graham.
Oh, why'd you say Christians like that?
Well, because they don't get a lot of Christians there in Vietnam. There are of their 95 million people, I guess 6.5 million Catholics and 1 million Protestants.
Okay.
So it's a
little less than 10% of the country.
They're there.
Okay.
Sure.
They exist.
I don't know why they care about Franklin Graham, but boy, do they ever. So they showed up, and this is a very weird occurrence there because it is a large, despite a lot of changes that have been made in the past 50 years, it's still theoretically run by the Communist Party.
Right.
And they clamp down on a lot of things.
Huh.
So yes, Graham was very careful not to say anything uppity or problematic to the Communist Party. As a matter of fact, he kind of kowtowed to him a little bit, which is interesting.
Okay.
He said, "I hope the government will see that Christians are not enemies, but Christians are some of the best citizens in Vietnam and people that and people they can trust and depend on. I hope it would be good for the churches, and I hope this meeting would be good for the government as they see us in a different light after this week." So it's a propaganda campaign, I guess.
Nice. All right.
But they're doing it, and there are apparently he can muster 10,000 people to come and see him do his shtick.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a famous religious figure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I could come up with a lot of reasons why not, but
yeah. Not the least of which being that the picture that I'm looking at makes him look terrifying.
Really?
He looks like the bad sheriff of a town that's
God.
going to ruin everything for everybody in some movie or something.
He's pointing his finger.
Yeah, and he's scowling. He's got a scowl.
He looks like he looks jet lagged.
Maybe he is. Maybe I should be more nice.
Because he looks a mess.
It's a long
He looks
long
either
flight.
sick or jet lagged.
Or both.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, slightly something not fully shoveled
He's
about that man.
unshoveled, if you will.
Well, all right, Dan.
Yeah.
Here's a story close to home. We actually mentioned it last week. Mark and I did.
And I should say, by the way, big thanks to Mark for filling in while I was out of town.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart.
He always does such a nice job.
Yep.
I think he was the one who mentioned that Donald Trump was in town.
Oh yes, he was
last
here.
week.
I was fortunately out of town while Trump was here.
Yeah. Well, while here, basically the entire reason to come here was to just rub it in everybody's,
Right.
face that he is cutting back the Bears Ears National Monument
And Escalante.
and the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. But specifically, the Bears Ears National Monument has been important one for the Native Americans.
Yes.
There was actually initially, in order to get it formed, when President Obama was basically being lobbied to do so, to create this national monument, there was a coalition of tribes. I was unaware of this. It was called the Bears Ears Intertribal Coalition, comprising the Hopi tribe, Navajo Nation, Ute Mountain Ute tribe, Pueblo of Zuni, and the Ute Indian tribe, who normally, there's a lot of disagreement amongst these groups.
Right.
These are not groups that normally would come together on many issues.
Just because they're all Native Americans does not mean that they are in agreement on everything.
Right, exactly.
They are individual nations.
Right. Warring tribes.
We didn't say that.
No. Maybe that. Anyway. Nonetheless, so this is actually the first national monument, or it was the first national monument to ever be created at the request of the sovereign tribes.
Right.
And so it was a big fucking deal that it happened. The tribes view this as sacred land. It's used by these specific tribes where their traditional leaders and medicine people go to collect their stuff. They go out and, I don't know, they do healing rituals and whatnot out there. Nonetheless, important land to them. It was set aside at their request, and now Donald Trump has, in large part, done away with it.
Right.
There's still some spaces that have been preserved. It's been chopped up into multiple national monuments now because it's not contiguous, and it's only leaving like 20 or 30% of the land.
He's really shaving it down.
And this is actually, we've talked about, the power that going out into nature has, and the effect that it has on the human psyche, and going out to ponder, and, the stillness of some of these places, the grandness of some of these places, like words like sacred get thrown around to describe them. But these are really important places. Human beings reconnect to ourselves, in a lot of ways by going out to these places.
One of the things you might be missing is that human beings will now get to connect to the land through their awesome four-wheelers. Yeah.
Or by drilling into it.
Or
you actually get to experience more of the land by extracting out its resources,
using it.
Yeah.
There's also, are we forgetting the tribe that is the
shell oil?
Well, and apparently there's a uranium mining company that wants to get their mitts in there.
Yeah, an important tribe. Why are their needs not being considered?
Indeed.
And in fact, they have been.
Guess what? They are.
They now have been.
They're much more important. There's money to be made, people.
Absolutely. But nonetheless, if nothing else, and I think I'm on record saying something along these lines, and I don't mean it to sound any other way than it's intended, which is bad things have been wrought on the Native Americans.
What?
Historically.
Huh?
And I think that if for no other reason, they have some religious concerns about whatever, be these concerns religious or otherwise, the tribes want it, fucking let the tribes have it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Why can we not just respect these people's land? Right?
Well, because
this wasn't specifically their land, but by using a national monument as the designation for this land, it was able to be preserved and protected for all of these tribes to use, right?
Yeah.
And
no more.
Not no more.
They get a little bit.
There's some of it.
You can have one ear.
Right.
You can't have all of the ears. You can have one bear's ear is what you can have.
You get a bear ear.
You get one
no bear's ears.
Right.
Just bear ear.
You get a bear ear. All right. Well, I'm going to move us on to Rome.
Yeah.
Where that Pope Francis feller.
Oh, he's He's a keeper, that one.
Well, oh boy. You know, he's been called a reformer since he got in there.
I know.
And huge reforms have been happening.
Oh, amazing stuff. You barely can recognize the Catholic Church at this point.
It's not even the same church.
Really not. It's like Vatican III, IV, V, and VI have all happened, and you don't even know.
Who knows? Who knows what's even happening? And here's another example of that. He might change the Lord's Prayer.
What?
He's thinking about it. He's considering it. The Lord's Prayer, for those of you who don't know.
You can't change the Lord's. It's the Lord's Prayer.
No.
It's not the Pope's prayer.
No.
This is the Lord's Prayer.
We can change it all we want to.
Keep your.
You know, I once did a blog post about the Lord's Prayer because I was reading in the Bible, and I was just sort of just scanning through randomly. Got into Matthew. Lord's Prayer pipes up in Matthew. I'm like, oh. Now, what's weird is I'm a Mormon or former Mormon.
Right.
We never did the Lord's Prayer in the Mormon church.
No.
But it's so much in pop culture that I was plenty familiar with it.
Sure.
So I'm reading through it, and it's like, you know, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our
trespasses.
Debts.
No.
Debts is what is in the King James, because the word, I guess it can mean, but no, in the Bible it says.
So where do we get trespasses?
Because there's this quibble on whatever the original, I think it's Greek word.
Sure.
Is about what it means. It can mean either I did a whole bunch of research about it just to figure out what the fuck was happening.
Right.
And why aren't they using what's in their goddamn Bible?
Oh, I like forgive us our debts.
As we forgive those in debt to us.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Right. I think that's what happened, was a bunch of people were like, no, Roger still owes me that $10. I'm not going to let him get away with it.
He'd never forgive me my debt.
No, that guy, you kidding me? Anyway, so this new proposal is nothing to do with forgiveness of debts, because obviously the Vatican doesn't want to get into that whole quagmire.
No, dear God, no.
But there is that line about, lead us not unto temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Right, okay.
To which he says, well, no, God doesn't lead you to temptation.
Right.
To which I say, that's some
news to me.
Interesting quibble, because God made me this. God makes you one way, and then you feel like you gotta masturbate.
Right.
That's, to me, if God made me in a way that makes me feel like I have to masturbate, that's God leading me into that temptation. Right. If he then says, no, don't do that. Anyway, the Pope doesn't like that line.
Okay, so what is this? This is about translation more than anything.
Well, sort of. I mean, so there's this article that I was looking at quotes Reverend Ian Paul, who's an Anglican theologian, who's very worried about this whole thing happening.
Oh.
He says the word in question is, this is the Greek word he's talking about, is pierasmos.
Oh, pierasmos, yeah.
Which means both to tempt and to be tested. So on one level, the Pope has a point, but he's also stepping into a theological debate about the nature of evil. In terms of church culture, people learn this prayer by heart as children. If you tweak the translation, you risk disrupting the pattern of communal prayer. You fiddle with it at your peril.
So, okay. All right. Fair enough.
I may have chosen this story just so I can say you fiddle with it at your peril.
Yeah. Okay, but
yeah,
is this specifically a quibble with the English translation?
Well, apparently there's
was he grew up and he's reading the Spanish Bible, and then maybe he's played around a little bit with the Italian Bible now that he's in Italy, and then all of a sudden he picks up a copy of the King James, and he's flipping through it, and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
No,
is that what happened?
No, I think most of these other languages do it the way that the English version does it.
Okay.
But the Pope has pointed to the French version, which the wording says something more along the lines of, "Do not let us enter into temptation," rather than "lead us not into temptation."
Okay.
So yeah, really important stuff being discussed at the Vatican. I mean, yeah, they still hate gays and they still don't want women to have control over their bodies, but at least they're working on the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
Little editing job, so
That's what I'm saying. This
Good
guy, he's
stuff.
done amazing work. Just,
powerful.
my hat is off to you, sir. Well done.
My mitre is off to you. Oh my God.
All right, Dan.
Yes, sir.
I've got the story of a U.S. couple.
Okay.
A couple of Americans.
Sure.
Married, two
I've
men.
heard of those.
Gay couple.
Oh, a gay couple. Okay.
With a very popular Instagram account.
Okay.
Until recently, had about 14,000 followers.
Okay, that's got
pretty
me
good.
That's got me beat.
That's not you're going to be making a living off of it, but that's a popular account.
I think mine's in the high 20s, so I'm getting there.
Oh,
20s. Like I have 27
20
followers.
All right. Well, okay. You're giving them a run for their money.
Yes.
The name of their account is they're known as the Traveling Butts.
Oh God. Okay. Sure.
So they post pictures of their naked butts. They'll drop their pants at sites all around the world. They've had their picture taken in front of all sorts of sites, mooning the camera.
Right. One assumes they have nice butts.
They weren't bad.
Okay.
I checked out the account.
Sure, you did.
I went over and was like, you
Right.
have to see, because the picture that came with the article was all like they had the black bar
Right.
or their
Now,
butts. And I was like, I don't know. Like,
I can't imagine them running into some trouble.
well, it depends on where you're going to put your butt.
You're right.
And so they made the mistake of burying their derrieres at a Thai temple.
Oh.
And the Thai authorities were not amused.
Yeah, it's not a
And-
cute look when you're basically really wildly, obviously disrespecting someone's religion.
Right. They were charged with public indecency.
Uh-huh.
And they were facing, potentially, it was like 7 years in jail or something.
Oh.
Well, I'm sure the embassy and whatnot, the
Yeah.
American embassy got involved. And they're having to pay $150 fine apiece. And they're being allowed to leave the country.
And probably cordially invited never to come back.
Probably.
Although they got off super easy.
Yes. The account was suspended for a brief... Oh, no, the account was deleted.
Oh.
Fully deleted. They lost their 14,000 followers.
Oh.
But they're back up to, it was like 1,600 followers. They're getting their followers back.
Okay.
And
they reignited their account. They
yeah, before even being out of Thailand, these fools. And there were pictures
dipshits.
of them in Thailand with, like, get rid of all of that. If you want to have your butts back up online, keep the ones in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, do the ones in our country.
Yeah.
And
Where it's actually a First Amendment right to bare your butt.
Is it?
Yeah.
Great.
It's considered speech.
Okay.
Protected speech to moon.
To moon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, still not cool to do it with the religious thing, though. Like
No.
if
And
you're going to
obviously,
disrespect a religion, do it the way you and I do it, Frank, with your words, not with your bum.
yeah,
Yeah, well, okay. They got off easy.
they did.
That's all I have to say. I am going to update us on a story that we talked about a few months ago.
Yeah.
So you'll recall that one of our favorite groups, the Satanic Temple, had decided to step in the Belle Plaine city, the city of Belle Plaine, Minnesota, because they had put in a public space an image or a statue of a kneeling soldier, sort of genuflecting to a cross.
Right.
And this was meant to be a veterans memorial sort of thing. And the Satanic Temple, seeing this, had said, okay, we're going to jump in too. And they created their little memorial, which is lovely. It's a black sort of stone box with pentagrams on all four sides, and on top just an upturned soldier's helmet.
Oh yeah, I remember this. It was actually really lovely.
A very classy thing.
Yeah.
Just with the pentagrams, the inverted pentagrams on any side of the thing, and it would have a plaque that says, Satanic Temple for veterans, sort of thing.
Cool.
The Belle Plaine City Council decided that instead of allowing this to go up, they would eliminate the quote free speech zone and remove the soldier kneeling to the cross thing.
Oh, okay.
A prudent decision, I've decided. But the Satanic Temple is not going to leave it there because they now have a big black, it's not stone, a big steel monument chilling that they sprung for because they applied for a permit for the thing.
Right.
Was given the permit.
Oh.
And then the city backed out. So the Satanic Temple is going to try and make them pay for the thing. They are demanding that the city pay them $35,000 to cover their costs because they went to the trouble of making the thing after they got the permit. The city, for their part, claims that being issued a permit is in no way being contractually that they had no contract with the city. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I doubt they would be because Satanic Temple, I would assume they've got some good legal counsel. I
would hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see how that, I don't know. I feel like,
are they just going for the headline?
I feel like maybe they are. This is a scary play for me because I feel like you won in this scenario. Why are you pushing it?
Because they want other cities
to
just not even go down the road.
Right. They want everybody to hear that.
They want Satanic Temple. They just the hint that Satanic Temple's coming. They want cities to run screaming,
to quake in their religious boots,
and get that monument off.
I do love
property.
Satanic Temple. I think that they're an amazing group of folks.
Yeah. Anyway,
so there you go. That's the update. We'll let you know if they how that shakes out. But currently, Lucian Greaves and his tribe are demanding some money.
These guys are amazing.
Well, if you want to demand anything from us, you can do so by writing into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It's a closed group, but we'll let you in.
We will indeed.
Dan.
Yes, sir.
I got something from that Dave Dobenmeyer.
Coach Dave?
Yeah, he's been coming up on the show lately.
Oh, he keeps saying stuff.
Because, this guy.
He's a smarty pants is what he is.
He's so smart. He's got a theory. I guess he must be an anti-vaxxer. Makes sense. Not surprised.
Yeah.
But he's got a new theory that I hadn't really heard about the whole vaccine thing, and it's worth listening to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you guys noticed this? Have you noticed the explosion of deviant sexual proclivities? It used to just be homo and straight. Then it was homo and straight and bi, and homo and straight and bi and trans, and homo and straight and bi and trans and gay, and homo and straight. They keep adding initials, right? And I was reading something that this is happening, literally this is happening because our DNA is being changed. And our DNA is being changed not only through what we eat, but through the stuff that we're seeing right here. Who knows what was injected into some of these deviant sex people as children. Who knows what was, when they say they were born that way, maybe they were vaccinated that way.
Are you a deviant sex person, Dan?
I might be a deviant sex person. I am definitely, because it used to be you had your homo, straight,
Gay.
no, homo, straight,
bi,
trans, and gay. Now you're two of those, I'm pretty sure, at least.
Homo and gay.
Yeah. I'm straight, so
you're on the
sounds like I'm on the list.
On the HSBTG.
They keep adding initials. They just keep doing it.
HSBTG.
Yeah.
The HSBTG community. That's everyone.
That's everybody. Welcome, everyone.
Almost.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people. I mean,
the asexuals.
We get A, and then the intersex or the I's and the P's and the W's.
I want to leave out the queer
Q's,
folk.
questioning, and the there's a. I'm pretty sure there's an M in there somewhere. But
what's the M for?
I don't know. It's silent. The M is silent in the things. But you never know what's going to happen. If only we hadn't vaccinated. It would be so much less confusing.
I'm so glad that we vaccinate. If that's what made me gay,
then you're
vaccinate away. Oh my God.
They needed to vax me a little bit more so I could at least get to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even get to buy.
We are assuming it's a progression.
I assumed that if they had put more vaccine into me, I would have been gayer. And they just didn't do enough. I think my mom skipped a couple or something, or maybe
It's funny. You got the musical theater part.
Yeah, right. And I'm an actor. I just didn't get any of the liking the penis stuff, which frankly I'm pissed off about. I just imagine now all I want to hear is like somebody go, "It's time for your booster shot."
That's ridiculous.
With
Sprinkles
some
and sparkles and
yeah,
glitter,
confetti everywhere.
Yeah,
who doesn't want that?
Dobenmeyer.
Doesn't
He doesn't want that.
No.
He's so afraid of his boosters.
I know he hasn't had his MMRI.
The MMRs.
Yeah, I'm just adding
measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah, he hasn't had that booster ever. Which is why he got measles.
Right.
So some folks wrote into us, thought and called in. I think maybe.
Yeah. I have a voicemail to play.
I got this from Jim. G'day, guys. Oh, it's a good day.
Good day.
I think we got us an Aussie.
Oh boy.
I must tell you this story from my youth while visiting Queensland Rationalist Society in Brisbane. It says in the 1060s. I'm going to assume he means in the 1960s.
Possibly.
I mean, maybe it was happening around the time of the Norman conquest, but I don't think so. The now president and patron of this society was an eminent academic from the Queensland University. His name was Dr. J.V. Dewing. His uncle was James Dewing. Would you believe the Catholic Archbishop of Brisbane?
I don't believe it.
Who could believe such a thing? The Archbishop was asked by the press, how come your nephew is such an outspoken, rabid atheist? His reply was, quote, well, when he was young, he read all the wrong books.
Oh.
When told of this statement, Dr. JV's reply was, the problem with the Archbishop was that he didn't read any books.
Wow.
Zinger! Sapow!
Oh.
So that's cheers from Jim. Love the podcast.
Nice.
Jim in Canberra.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
Stupid Archbishop. Read more books. That's the funny thing. Like, oh, he read the wrong books. Well, I mean, that you read the wrong books, dummy. It's just funny that when people are like, stop reading the books.
Right.
That'll get you thinking too much.
Yeah.
Don't read the books. Although I know plenty of people who have read the wrong books and come to some very interesting conclusions about the way the world works.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
There are lots of books that will lead you plenty astray.
Just because it's printed doesn't mean that it's,
right.
valid or worthwhile.
Right.
So anyway, all right, I've got a voicemail, Dan.
Okay, I'll listen to it with you.
So here we go. I'm just going to play it.
Hey, Frank and Dan, this is Zach. I work for a rural water utility in North Alabama, and the dowsing rod is something that we've used as well. We call it witching the water main. The thing that seems to work the best is the copper rod, or at least that's what the guys in the field say. From my personal experience, it's just some subtle way of you being able to use your understanding of how the water system was installed, and you can look at it a lot of times and just kind of determine where the water main may lie just based on the way the grass or the dirt is showing. And we kind of use it as a tool just to help us think through it. So that's how we've used it. But yeah, it doesn't work because we found water mains all over the place. So love your show, and you guys keep up the great work. Talk to y'all later.
There you go. Yeah, response to the 3 shows ago, we talked about divining rods.
Talking about how in Great Britain they were using the water authorities were using divining rods to try and find the water mains. I think that's really fascinating. I mean, he's basically talking about.
He's got a pointer.
Yeah,
he's got a copper pointer. He can also use a laser pointer,
right? Or
show the crew where dig right here,
or
you
a
don't have to get this
conductor's baton. Just use that if you want to.
Could gesture with your hand open,
with an open palm.
Yeah, oh yeah. Here we go, boy.
I mean, what he's got is an intuition confirmer. What the fuck are you guys doing? Just put down. You don't need to use a water witch.
What about don't they use like those little metal detector things or whatever? Or like when you call the call before you dig thing, right? They come out and they have like a little beepy thing, and they're like boop boop boop, and they just mark all the thing, and it's like
if it's too deep in the ground, you got nothing.
Well, they have to know.
They have listening things.
Maybe that's what they're doing too. I don't know, but and they put the little flags out, and we're living in the Stone Age. Your gas line is.
That's what we're doing. We're living in the Stone Age.
Shit. All right. Well, whatever. You got anything else?
Well, we got some folks we need to thank.
We have 4 new donors this week that I wanted to thank. Each coming in at the faithful level, and these folks are Ambria, Deborah, Kirsten, and Jason. So thank you so much for coming on board with us.
Right, and we have some PayPal people to thank as well.
Yes.
Also at the faithful level, we've got Daniel, Genevieve, and Randy, who donates in the name of Roy Moore. So we need to do a thanks to Roy Moore for donating to our show.
Indeed. All right.
Also, and we have one person and I have not calculated the level. What's the one up from Faithful?
Venerable.
We're gonna say this is a venerable,
awesome
donor, James.
Oh, thank you, James.
Who's doing that? So
wonderful.
Thanks to all of our donors so much. So if anyone hasn't been a donor yet and would like to sort of step in and help out with that, they can do so by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on one of the tabs, whichever one suits your needs best, and donating.
Yeah, it does help so much, guys. This is
it's what keeps us going.
It keeps us going, and
we have one more person to thank.
But of course, we need to thank our Lord and Savior.
Blessed be her name,
Angela.
Wow, no one has stepped up to dethrone our Lord and Savior. So I think that's great. Angela, you are still and forever
reigning supreme.
Reigning supreme.
And may she bless you.
In the name of the Father and the Son, and all of them are just Angela.
Amen.
Hey, Frank.
Yes, Dan?
So, our president,
yeah,
blessed be him.
Peace.
Oh my God.
No, never.
That-
No, may no peace
Come
be
to
upon him.
But may he leave us in peace.
Yeah.
He's not engendering peace right now. He this over this last week he pulled a move. He promised he was going to do it.
This man and his promises.
And he did it. He is going to be recognizing
Ugh.
Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Israel.
Yeah.
And moving the U.S. embassy there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure in his mind, what this means is that all of those evangelical nutballs that he has voting for him will be happy.
Right. But we need to.
But this may have some larger geopolitical effects as well.
Yeah. And he may have been told that, and he may have just been like, well, okay. But I mean, how bad can it be?
Yeah. Here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, Jerusalem is a hotly contested area.
Yeah.
And currently is shared on the one side by the Jews of Israel, and on the other side by the Muslims of the Palestinian state.
Right.
And to just say this belongs to one or the other is to disregard and basically chuck into the toilet the past 50 years of trying to wrangle a solution
Right.
to a huge intractable problem
Right.
in the region,
Yeah.
which our president is more than happy to do.
Right.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, this is some tough stuff. I mean, if it was just, contested land, it would be one thing, but this is like contested sacred land. There are sacred
Right.
places that both the Jews and the Muslims have staked claim to.
Right. There is, for instance, the
Temple Mount.
The Temple Mount,
Right. The
which is currently run
messiest.
by the Islamic side of things, because it is a holy site for them. It is the site of their
Dome of the Rock is on top of it.
right. So they have this holy thing.
Right.
It's also very important to Christians
Yeah.
because it's where Jesus
Did his thing.
did some shit.
He cast some shit out of the temple and
Maybe it's where
Expelled
he's
the money
supposed to
changers.
be coming back.
I believe so.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
To say that, so like this is holy to all of the Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
So to say Jerusalem is just Israeli now
Right.
is to cause an international, multi-religious, like shitstorm,
Yeah.
which is what is happening, is brewing now.
Yeah. He took a clusterfuck and he made it worse.
And he put it in a blender.
Yeah.
And hit frappe.
And now it's a fustercluck.
Indeed it is. But here's the thing. American evangelicals are shitting their pants with joy
Yeah.
over this thing.
Yeah. Because they see this as the rapture is this much closer.
It's a fulfillment of prophecy
Yeah.
to them. They don't care about the geopolitical consequences.
They
don't
want them.
They want
They want the war.
the war to happen.
They want this thing to blow up because that's the only way they get to, as a group, get sucked away up into Jesus's giant vacuum,
right.
and live forever in great eternal bliss.
And that's what I wanted our listeners not to miss in all of this.
Right.
Is that what these evangelical pastors have been pushing Trump to do isn't about, I mean, yes, they hate Muslims. Yes, they see Muslims as their enemy.
Right.
But this isn't about that.
Right.
This is about they need this war to happen because it's one of the prophecies that they believe has to come to pass in a series of prophecies in order for them to get their Jebus back.
Yeah.
So they're predicted. So like some of those prophecies include, so the Jews, when they rejected Jesus as the Messiah, God chose the church to accomplish his mission, the Christian church to accomplish his mission. Now, what they're waiting for is that the next thing that has to happen is the Jews will experience a religious rebirth and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem.
That's not going to happen.
Well, maybe it does now. Now that they've got Jerusalem,
they would have to destroy the second or third most sacred site of Islam in order to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, are they crazy enough?
Are the Jews crazy? Are the Israelis crazy enough?
Yeah.
I don't know. But with American backing, they'll feel a lot more comfortable getting there. Now, I've got some quotes from Jews on different sides of this thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get to that. But I did want to get through some more of these
the
prophecies.
steps along the way.
Right.
Okay.
So the Jews rebuild their temple. This sparks a series of cataclysmic events.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Okay.
Including culminating in the Battle of Armageddon.
Ooh.
Which is theoretically supposed to be the last war of humanity.
That's terrifying.
But what it leads to finally at the end is, the 6 Jews that are left or whatever. The Jews that are left will accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, prompting Jesus to decide to come back.
So the Jews have to accept Jesus for him to return.
Or something.
Because he's just that petulant. He's like,
Or
you
it's
rejected me. You rejected me once.
Shame on you. Reject me twice. Shame on
me. And I'm going to fucking destroy this place.
Right. So once Jesus comes back, then everything's fine and everybody's happy forever
You're like,
or whatever.
sorry, man. Like, we didn't realize you were such a dick.
Yeah. This is a series of prophecies. Like, the belief in all of this is known as dispensational premillennialism. Millennialism referring to the 1,000 years of peace that happens after all of this goes on.
Right. It'll be just beautiful.
Right.
Amazing. The lion shall lay with the lamb.
Right.
That shit.
It started, interestingly, not back in, the 800s when Islam cropped up. No.
Oh, really?
This movement started in the 1840s.
Oh. Okay.
A few evangelicals started to float this idea. There was a book that was a pretty good seller called The Late Great Planet Earth. But that didn't come up until like the 70s. Yeah. The 1970s is when this really started to take hold, when it really started to boil and bubble.
Are Mormons are still pretty obsessed about this stuff, right?
I don't know what the Mormon take on the whole Israeli thing is. I've never met a Mormon who wants.
No. The Mormons aren't working on like making it happen.
No.
That's what the evangelicals are for. But Mormons believe that it is going to happen.
Well, they believe in a millennial. I don't think that their storyline is exactly the same.
It's not
as
exactly the same, but it has a lot of the same steps.
It does.
Including that there's a war in the Middle East and that the temple's rebuilt. This is an important thing, but it's a Mormon temple in their whole thing.
Right. In their world.
And that's never fucking happened.
I hope it does. They're doing the Rome thing, maybe. Mormons do have like BYU has a whole institution in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
That they've had for decades now and stuff.
And the rumor is it could be converted to a temple, like lickety split.
This is just bibbity bobbity boo.
Yeah, they have all of the folding chairs back in a room somewhere,
just ready to go.
and the curtains.
Yeah.
They have all the curtains that they need and little hammers.
Yeah.
They've got all of it. They're just ready to go.
They've got the video projector
sealed in a vault,
ready to go with all the Mormon.
Sealed in a vault somewhere.
So, yeah, and then this all gained real popularity in the 90s when the Left Behind novels came out.
Oh, yeah.
See, the Mormons don't have a rapture. This is all leading to Christian rapture and stuff.
Right.
Also, the Mormons' version of apocalypse ends not in like 1,000 years of glorious peace and happiness, but 1,000 years of clerical work, which I think is a much sadder. It's a pretty sad
that's
statement
Mormon
on
heaven.
Mormonism.
No, that's Mormon heaven right there.
Everybody
doing genealogy work for 1,000 years.
just pushing paper in triplicate.
Yeah. And whenever you run out of paper, the earth has become as an Urim and Thummim. And you just look and you get all your answers right there.
Oh my God, none of it means anything. I will go to some quotations.
Yes, please.
From some people, that you might be. Actually, no, I'll do this one. So this, first I'll check in with Rabbi Rick Jacobs.
Okay.
Rabbi Rick Jacobs. He's the president of the Union for Reform Judaism here in the United States.
Okay.
So a Jew. Now, a lot of Israeli Jews are leaping for joy about this thing
Oh, okay.
because they feel like Jerusalem is theirs. It's the rightful thing.
Well,
So just give it to us. And
but let's my understanding is that they already have sort of the seat of power is already there. It's just no world power will actually put their embassy over there
because
of just sheer terror of what it would do.
Causes too much trouble.
Right. And so everybody keeps
also
the diplomatic shit all is over in Tel Aviv.
Right. And not to put too fine a point on it, but any two-state solution that is possible includes carving up Jerusalem,
right?
Or at least coming up with a multicultural Jerusalem,
right?
You cannot give sovereign control of Jerusalem just to Jews,
right?
If you want a peaceful solution to the Palestinian problem,
right?
So here's what this American rabbi has to say. He says President Trump's ill-timed but expected announcement affirms what the Reformed Jewish movement has long held, that Jerusalem is the eternal capital of the Jewish people and the state of Israel. Yet, while we share the president's belief that the U.S. embassy should, at the right time, be moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, we cannot support his decision to begin preparing that move now, absent a comprehensive plan for a peace process.
Right.
Because, this is going to be a fucking shitstorm.
Yeah.
And while they want,
and we're already seeing the tensions in the street bubbling up.
Yeah.
People have taken to the street protesting this.
Right. Now, Robert Jeffress, we know him, evangelical leader of the First Baptist Church of Dallas.
Yeah.
He's got a different take.
Oh, he's excited, I bet.
Jerusalem is and should be recognized as the capital of Israel. It is David's capital, the site of the first and second temples, the focus of the historians' accounts, the psalmist's songs, and the prophet's visions. It is the place where Jesus, a Jew himself, was crucified and where he was resurrected. It is the place where he will set foot again on earth at his second coming. So he's made it clear this to him is about fulfillment of prophecy.
Yeah.
This isn't about honoring the Jewish claim at all. This is about honoring what will be the Christian claim.
Right.
We honor the Jews for now.
Right.
And then later they all have to convert to Christianity. But that's down the road a piece. So Jews, feel good about us.
Great.
Rabbi Michael Lerner, editor of Tikkun magazine, which is a Jewish magazine that I don't know a lot about, but it's a Jewish magazine.
Okay.
Said, of course, Jerusalem is the capital of the state of Israel, but also the capital of the state of Palestine, currently occupied by the Israeli army and unable to exercise its sovereignty in the Arab parts of Jerusalem that will someday be an integral part of the Palestinian state. To ignore this fact and instead play to the most reactionary element of the Israeli people and of the Jewish people around the world is to not only be ignorant and arrogant, but also terribly destructive to the possibility of the U.S. playing a constructive role in bringing an end to the Israeli-Palestinian struggle.
Right.
And that I think is key.
Right.
Is that Trump has thrown up his hands and said,
we're out.
we're not doing this. We're not going to broker a peace. We're just going to pick a side and squat on it.
But peace will have to be brokered at some point. Somebody's going to have to figure this thing out. And quite frankly, we're out.
Right. We are out of it. And the only way that we will be participating in a peace plan is by blowing up helping Israel blow up their enemies.
That's a peace plan.
Right. Well, yeah, it's a great peace plan. If you kill all of the guys on the other side, you got peace. Which I think can be the only thing that could be described as. I mean, what we're talking about is, of course, it's not just the Palestinians. The Palestinians can't do anything. It's that all of the other Arab countries will rally to the Palestinians' cause. And then we have the entire region in possibly nuclear war. And
it's because we do have allies in the region, or should I say ally in the region. There have been sort of varying degrees of statements that I've heard from sort of from the Muslim world and the Arab world. Saudi Arabia's statement was one of like basically just like befuddlement and this shouldn't have been done, but it's pretty diplomatic toward the United States. And then you have just outright fuck these people statements. So and it is a very much so not a good move.
Oh, it's horrible. It's the worst thing.
It's just so bad. It's unbelievable.
But many of our listeners will have a family member who is ecstatic about this and probably doesn't really know why.
And probably a lot of our listeners probably have a family member who is going to get caught up over there in some sort of nasty skirmish.
Yeah.
And so that's bad shit too.
Yeah, that's not.
But this is not going to settle easily.
Nope.
And thank you, Senor Trump,
for enacting the will of a bunch of religious kook jobs.
Yeah.
That's what this is. We have geopolitical things were not taken into account.
Right.
A bunch of other Christian sects are not okay with this.
Right.
It's just the evangelicals.
And
But we are now a nation kowtowing to a bunch of loony birds. And we're ruining the whole world by doing it.
Yeah.
Hooray.
And it's such a minority group too.
Yeah. There you go.
But they got what they wanted.
They got what they wanted.
How much of what they want they actually get.
They may get their apocalypse yet. They may get their...
Armageddon and apocalypse, not necessarily the same thing.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Oh, Lord. Well, I'm sure some of our listeners have some interesting feedback, things that they want to say about this. If you want to, you can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
It is. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. We need some double thanks going out to some people who I omitted last time.
Okay.
The moderators.
So our mods on the TGIA Members Only Lounge get 2 thanks this week. That's Danny, Amy, and Sarah.
Right.
For all of their hard work. And thanks to Mackenzie for her for doing her deal on the Facebook page.
Absolutely. You can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/TGIAtheist.
See what color Frank's socks are.
Ooh, they're a pretty color. Yeah. And also, we need to thank the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
Indeed. And thanks again to our patrons.
Yeah.
And thank you, dear listener, dear viewer, for tuning in.
Bye-bye.